The Redridge Mountains are an idyllic region of rushing rivers, towering elms, and rising elevations, located to the east of Elwyn Forest, the north of Deadwind Pass, and the south of the Burning Steppes. Here, the people of Lakeshire supply Stormwind with timber, fish, and crops. The Redridge Mountains do not have the same storied history of places like Westfall. Its most notable feature, as far as the greater world is concerned, is being a location the Horde can use to move through to get to the Blasted Lands and the Dark Portal beyond. That is of course not to say that individuals or organizations of importance have not made their home in Redridge, the most notable of which being the Dark Horde, made up of orcs from the Blackrock and Blacktooth clans, trolls, ogres, and goblins, all of whom serve the fallen earth aspect Deathwing. And with that brief history lesson complete, let us see what old Animan is getting up to in Redridge.
I won't lie, I was glad to get away from Westfall. Everything that happened since I got there had left a bad taste in my mouth. I needed to get away, or I was gonna do something that might get me killed. It started well. I was enjoying a pleasant stroll on my latest companion and friend, Sanguinius, a ruby gemstone panther that some fool was selling on the Alliance auction house. Of course, all good things must come to an end. As I was passing by a guard tower, I was called in to help with some Gnolls. Apparently they were leftovers of the Shadowhide clan that followed that old warlock, Worgan. Fortunately, Watch Captain Parker was an accommodating man. He could tell I had somewhere I needed to be, and quickly sent me off to Lakeshire with the Gnoll plans I had acquired in their camps. Lakeshire I found to be a pleasant town. One could even say homey. It made me feel like I could put my feet up and relax. After spending some time in the Lakeshire Inn, getting some food and drink, taking a load off, I finally headed to Magistrate Solomon to give him my news from the Watchtower. Solomon and I got talking, and after hearing what I had been doing in Westfall, he told me I was just the kind of hero that Lakeshire was in need of. Lakeshire's citizens have been going missing every day. Solomon thinks the Gnolls are behind it, but has been unable to find where they have been taking them. He wants to give me a gnome recorder so that he can send me out in the field and stay in communication. However, the last good one was stolen by some marauding murlocs last week. He figures this is a good opportunity to get rid of some pests and get me properly equipped. After helping some locals deal with a wild boar that was eating all their plants, and helping some kids find a locket they dropped into the river, I headed over to the Murloc camp in the ever-still lake. With the gnome recorder in hand, I headed back to Solomon to finally start helping with some real threats. Oh, so I thought. Apparently I needed to get it properly tuned first. With that tedious task done, I could finally begin to work. And my first task was a simple and straightforward one. Kill as many Gnolls as I can until I find a clue that will tell me where they are taking Lakeshire's citizens. On the corpse of one of the Gnolls, I found a note that claimed some orcs gave them an orb that allows them to control Eddins. That seems like something that should be looked into. Along with that, I noticed the Gnolls had stolen crates of Lakeshire supplies and figured I should return them ASAP. As it turned out, it wasn't just any group of orcs working with these Gnolls, but Blackrock orcs. Solomon wanted me to find out how deep the connection was, and what the Blackrocks were planning, so my next job was another simple one. Kill as many Blackrocks as I can find, until I get the information I need. And it didn't take me long to find said information. These Blackrocks were following the orders of Yowler, a local Gnoll that seemed impossible to kill. Every time one Yowler dies, another one takes up the name. Very frustrating. Anyway, Solomon put me on my next task. Find and kill Yowler and get the plans for the Lakeshire invasion. But before dealing with Yowler, I could see the Gnoll with the Eden Mold not too far from me. And if it could truly control Eddins, I needed to deal with him. Turns out the scum really could control Eddins with this orb. Maybe I can use this to get rid of that large rock crushing Foreman Oslo at the Lakeshire Bridge. With that taken care of, I got to work looking for Yowler. And wasn't I just lucky enough to find him making his way to the cave I was leaving? With Yowler once again dealt with, and the invasion plans in hand, I started looking for an Etten that I could use. All I had to do was follow the shaking ground. Back in Lakeshire, I headed to speak with Magistrate Solomon again to see what he thought of this invasion plan. As it turned out, the Blackrocks were planning to increase the Orc and Gnoll numbers in the area and march from Lakeshire to Stormwind. Very ambitious. And even if I don't believe they could take Stormwind, very dangerous. As Solomon began to despair and wail, a man came up to knock some sense into him. Colonel Troutman. According to him, there was something, or rather someone, that was in Lakeshire that would be able to deal with the Blackrock threat. John J. Keeshan, one of the greatest soldiers in both the First and Second Wars. Unfortunately, near the end of the Second War, he was captured by the Blackrocks and was treated in ways that no one should ever be treated. Troutman had heard Keeshan had begun participating in a fight club that had started in the Lakeshire Inn basement. I found Keeshan there, but he wasn't willing to help. It seemed he lost more in the war than just his dignity. Though I could see repressed fire in his eyes, I could tell he just needed a reminder, and Troutman agreed with me. Troutman figured there was only one way I was gonna get Keeshan on board. First, I needed to get his old gear, his bow and survival knife, back, and then find his old crew, Bravo Company. Guess I'm off to kill more Blackrocks. What a shame. Fortunately, Mesna, a member of Bravo Company, was being held at Alpha Mills, the same location of the Orcs that had taken Keeshan's equipment. As I was going to get the key to free him, I dealt with said Orcs. Contacting Troutman, I was informed that this equipment wouldn't be enough. I need to reignite Keeshan's fire, and that meant getting his sentimental items back as well, his headband and jade necklace. Troutman found out that these items were being held up north at the Render's camp. Before leaving, I made sure to free Mesna, who informed me that he heard the Orcs talking about another member of Bravo Company that they had held up in Render's camp. How lucky for me. After slaughtering our way across Render's camp, Mesner and I found Jorgensen trapped inside a cage near the mouth of a cave. As it turned out, we found the key for the cage on the corpse of some witch we killed a while ago. Jorgensen knew where the other members of Bravo Company, Krakawa and Danforth were, and we needed to get to them quickly as they were being prepped to be sacrificed for some dark ritual. We killed the Orc guarding Krakawa. For some reason he had Keeshan's headband and necklace here as well. And then we freed him before making our way deeper in the cave to find Danforth. With all of Bravo Company freed, it was time to head back to Lakeshire and meet up with Troutman and Keeshan. With his equipment and friends back, I could see the fire was back in Keeshan's eyes, and he was ready to get back to slaying Blackrock scum. Now that we were in position, having snuck across the lake, it was time to get to work. Troutman had an agent over here named Brewbreaker. Keeshan wants me to find him and get information. Along with that, the other members of Bravo Company want me to get some leaves and crap for camo gear, Murloc glands for a bootleg chloroform, and deal with the Blackrock scouts that were close to us. I guess they found Brewbreaker. I found him dead and hung up for everyone to see. I gave him a quick once-over and saw he had something hidden in his pouch. Grabbing it, I found a note to Keeshan. Reading it told me these Blackrocks had prisoners, and we couldn't just blow these bastards up until we had freed them. Oh, and apparently they also had black dragons. Keeshan gave me the Bravo Company field kit and told me I was going to be freeing the POWs. At least I wasn't going alone. Jorgensen was coming with me to watch my back. The first step was stealing a key from an orc in a cave on the south side of the valley. far away from all the cages. Seems the Blackrocks aren't as stupid as the last ones I dealt with. Though, not smart enough to see a distraction when one was put right in front of them. Key in hand, I headed to the cages and got those POWs freed. Then, I contacted Keishan on the gnome recorder and got my next task, to set C4 charges and blow this place sky high. Once I met up with Keishan, he gave me the ignition switch, and with a smile on my face, I pushed the button. Ah, what a beautiful sight. But we weren't done yet. We'd dealt with the Blackrocks in Redridge, but the Gnolls were still running loose. According to some locals, the Gnolls were being controlled by a wizard that holed themselves up in the nearby tower of Ilgalar. Unfortunately, the wizard had erected some sort of magical barrier that would only allow those holding a specific key enter. I saw Gnolls coming and going from the tower, so I figured if I killed enough of them, I would eventually find the key. And I was right. Key in hand, I got a message from Keishan. Turns out the wizard was a human traitor. I knew what Keishan would say next before he even spoke. This traitor was going to die. I rushed up the tower, and as soon as I saw the traitor, I begun swinging my axes at him. However, before I could kill him, he teleported away, leaving me with the cryptic message about how I would cower before Dark Blaze, whatever that was. When I got back to Keishan, he told me we were ready for our final push against these Gnolls, and that's when I saw it, a siege tank. We were gonna use it to kill all the Gnoll filth between here and Stonewatch. With that done, we had one final task. Get rid of the Blackrock commanders holed up in Stonewatch. It wasn't easy. These were some of the toughest orcs and Gnolls we had ever faced. But Bravo Company and I eventually made it up to the doors of Stonewatch and put that rabid animal, Gothozog, down. Just as Bravo Company began congratulating each other, he appeared. The wizard from Ilgalar Tower. He started monologuing at us, and then did something that put more fear in my heart than anything else I'd ever seen. He transformed into the Black Dragon, Dark Blaze. Keishan quickly inspired Bravo Company, and we pulled out every bit of strength we had to kill the dragon. Just as we thought the fight was coming to an end, Dark Blaze decided if he was going to die, he was going to take all of us with him. He threw up a blast of rock-melting flames across all of us, killing Messner, Jorgensen, and Krakauer, and greatly wounding Keishan and myself. Before I could deal the killing blow, Keishan jumped into the beast's mouth, attacking wildly. Dark Blaze flew off before I could confirm he was dead, or find Keishan's body. With nothing left to do here, I headed back to Trotman to report a job done. Trotman somberly congratulated me for a job well done, but I could tell his heart wasn't in it. He sent me back to Solomon to inform him that the Orc invasion was dealt with, and let me know it was now my job to make sure the name Bravo Company wasn't forgotten. The people of Lakeshire were able to dredge up Keishan's body and make sure he got a proper burial. Solomon would make sure Bravo Company was always remembered as heroes in Lakeshire. With my work here done, I got ready for my next adventure. I heard there was need for heroes in Duskwood, that there was undead and wild Worgan causing trouble for the people of Darkshire. But it was then that I got a message from Marshal Gryan. It was time to deal with the Defiers.
Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. This series is a lot of fun. I'm not 100% sure on the direction it is going to go, but I do hope to get every zone in Eastern Kingdoms done in this manner. Next week there will be 2 uploads in this series, one for the Deadmines that may be a little bit different than the previous videos I've done, and one more standard one for Duskwood. I hope you have been enjoying these, and if you have, please subscribe and comment. It does mean a lot to me, and I will be happy to reply to any questions. And if you would like to catch me live, you can find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Megaslayer321A. There you can find me streaming games with my brother or by myself. Bye for now.